Oh, hi there! I just came back from doing some groceries, which luckily was real easy thanks to an amazing road network. Speaking of which, did you know that Mini Motorways also lets you build and puzzle your very own road network to keep your citizens of your city driving happily? Does the game succeed in doing that? Let's go ahead and find out. Now, Mini Motorways is a game that released on iOS's Apple Arcade back in 2019, and it was the successor to the game Mini Metro. Now, in 2021, the game also released outside of iOS on Steam for PC and Mac OS. And today we're going to talk about that particular version of the game. Mini Motorways is a puzzle game with a pretty simple concept. Businesses and homes of various colors spawn on random places of the map. The goal is to connect the homes of a certain color to its corresponding businesses. This starts off pretty simple with just 1 or 2 colors, but as time passes, more colors are added. It's not just that, but also businesses and homes spawn on various places on the increasingly large map. The beauty of the game is that it gradually increases the difficulty. At the start of the game, the camera is fully zoomed in and focuses only on one business and one home. But slowly but surely, as time passes, the camera gradually zooms out to reveal larger portions of the map, and therefore also more businesses and homes of various colors. This happens so subtly that oftentimes when playing, I didn't even notice the camera consciously zooming out until I leaned back myself and saw that the map all of a sudden was a lot bigger. Speaking of maps, there's quite a few in the game which are all based on real-life cities. These range from Los Angeles to Moscow and from Dar es Salaam to Tokyo. The different maps don't have a massive impact on the gameplay, but some maps offer various elements that others don't, like tunnels or bridges. Also, all of the maps have some key landmarks or iconic locations on them that make them distinctly unique. This ranges from names of rivers and mountains to small, almost hidden Easter eggs, like for instance this one in Rio de Janeiro. The goal of the game is to score as much points as possible. Points are earned for each car that travels from a home to a business and back again. Each business has a set amount of pins hovering above them, and when a car goes to that business, it takes one of these pins and takes it back home. And each of these pins is worth 1 point. New pins spawn all the time randomly across all businesses. And when there's too many in one business, you get a countdown timer. Don't pick up enough pins when the countdown timer ends, and it's game over. Time in the game progresses through days and weeks. At the end of each week, you are presented with a choice of 2 different upgrades. These help you manage the flow of your traffic. Besides more road tiles, you get to choose between bridges and tunnels, motorways, traffic lights, and roundabouts. These choices can be pretty important as they are randomized each week, so picking one now with the intention of getting the other one next week might not always work out that way. Now, these different upgrades also help you manage the flow of traffic through your city. The roundabouts offer a smoother way to travel to adjacent streets, motorways can be built over other roads and businesses to travel quicker to one location to the next, and bridges and tunnels allow you to travel over water or through mountains. And lastly, traffic lights automatically control the flow of traffic for you. And personally, while I like all of these upgrades, I found that the traffic lights proved to be the least useful. For some reason, when placing them, I felt that oftentimes they actually stopped the flow of traffic instead of improving it. Now, like I said before, the premise of the game is fairly simple, which is further enhanced by the top-down graphics and the soundtrack. The game features very smooth and almost vector-like graphics. Now, each map comes in 3 different colors. 2 light themes and 1 dark theme. Depending on the theme you choose, it will also change the soundtrack. For instance, the soundtrack in dark theme is a lot more chill than the one in light theme. Personally, I'm a big fan of the graphics of the game. They're very simple, but they're definitely not boring. Some details are also so subtle that you almost don't notice them. For instance, because of the top-down view of the game, you don't see how tall businesses are, until you start looking at their shadows. At the moment, there's only 1 mode in the game, the default timed puzzle mode. And while the game offers various different maps and weekly and daily challenges for you to choose from, it would have been nice to see a little bit more variation in modes. For instance, a more zen-like endless mode where scoring points and time wasn't as much of a factor would have been a nice addition. This doesn't mean at all though that you will get bored of the game quite quickly. In fact, I noticed the opposite thing. I found myself oftentimes going back into the game to try and set a higher score on a map that I previously played. Trying out different things to set up my road network definitely helps with the replayability of this game. But like I said before, it would have been nice to see a little bit more variation in gameplay offered. Or perhaps even an online mode where you could play with or against other people on the same map. Now, back when Mini Metro released on iPhone and iPad, I spent many hours on the addictive gameplay. And when Mini Motorways was released, I was instantly drawn into the familiar gameplay. While both games are very similar in gameplay, they do offer enough variety to completely stand on their own. Initially, I wasn't sure if Mini Motorways would translate well to the bigger screen of a PC. But after having played it, I can say with full certainty that it absolutely does. The graphics look gorgeous and the mouse input works very well. In fact, I think playing with the mouse is even easier than playing on the touchscreen of your iPhone or iPad. The gameplay of the game is quite addictive and it will definitely make you come back for more. It might not be a game that you play for hours on end, but I did find that the puzzle element is quite relaxing. Plus, the soundtrack is just so nice and soothing. While playing the game, I can definitely tell that your patience is being tested at times. Sometimes I found myself playing through an entire week with almost no new businesses or homes spawning. When the city runs smoothly the way that it is, this meant that you were oftentimes just waiting for something new to appear on the map. While this isn't the worst thing and it doesn't happen all the time, it can take the flow out of the game a little bit. But of course, on the other hand, you also don't want to have too many things spawning all the time, because then it will be too difficult. Overall, if you were a fan of Mini Metro or you like these kind of puzzle games, I can highly recommend Mini Motorways for you. It's available now on Steam for both Windows and macOS, and of course it was already available on Apple Arcade for iOS devices, Apple TV and macOS. So I would say put on your hard hat and start planning. Thank you for watching this review of Mini Motorways. If you enjoyed it and want to support my content, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up on the video, subscribe to my channel and ring that bell for future video notifications. Also, here are some other videos that you might enjoy.